Hello again from Susan So Creative, where it's only wrong when it doesn't work. I'm Susan Anderson, and today I'll be creating a stitch, flip, and quilt throw using Minky and flannel. I had purchased 6 pieces of Minky, 2 black, 2 white, and 2 aqua. And what I've done is I've split one of them. They were 10 inches by 60. And I've split one black to give me a border at each end. And then I have my colors, another black, to go in the center. And then just lining up the colors the way I want to in preparation for my quilt. I don't plan on cutting anything other than the one strip to give me the outside border. Everything else should stay the same. I've gone ahead and attached my backing flannel to my leaders on my long arm. And I've set my machine up to just baste with a different colored thread to give me a line to align my fabric to as I start my quilt. So we're just going to go ahead, use my move feature, and stitch across the top part of my flannel to give me a straight edge. I've switched to my simulator on my computer to make it easier for you to see what I'm doing. But I'm laying out the one row of the black that I first started with. This is a 5-inch piece. And I'm just going to type in 5 on a width, 5 on a height, and 60 on a width. This is going to give me my first panel. Then I'm going to select an continuous line design from Pro Stitching Designs. And since my son is into music and I thought this would be kind of fun, I'm going to choose piano keys to do my outer border. Now I want to move it closer to the position where it'll be stitching. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to my repeat tab. And I'm going to type in 25. I'm going to baseline this. And then we're going to go to Modify, Skew, and Border Skew. Now, before I actually do the stitching, I'm going to go up to my file, choose Save, and I'm going to choose Save the Workspace. You can save over any workspace again and again and again. You only need it for the time that you're doing the actual quilt. But this prevents any issues you might have later on. If your machine freezes or Pro Stitcher freezes or something, you've got the design already saved. So now we're just going to go ahead and stitch the design right onto my flannel with the Minky on top. Now to add my next layer, after I've got my first one done, I'm going to slide the second color. This is the 10-inch wide piece, matching raw edges, right sides together, move my presser foot along the edge. Now this is where my square presser foot really comes in handy because it gives me that nice straight edge to follow. It makes it a lot easier for me to keep that edge together. Now I'm just going to go ahead and use the move again, and rather than baste it, I'm going to just stitch it down. So I'm doing 10 stitches per inch, and we're going to stitch that all the way across the width of the quilt. Once you've basted, flip the fabric toward you and lay it flat against the backing. Just as I do for my regular quilting, when I have a raw edge, I'm going to baste along the edge of my strip to keep it nice and flat. And I started out not basting down the bottom raw edge, and it determined it got to be a little on the iffy side. So I've decided later, after this one particular scene, you'll see it in the next color. that I've gone ahead and basted the very bottom of that strip as well. Makes it just that much safer when you're stitching. It's just going to give the imprint of the design. You will see some of the black, but it all blends in nicely. I'm going to continue to build my quilt top by laying my next piece face down, right sides together, matching the long raw edge and the short raw edges of the piece. Then again, use the edge of your foot as your guide against the raw edge. And I go back to my move feature under Pro Stitcher, and it allows me to make sure my fabric is laying nice and flat as the machine stitches along. Now I dropped the speed down to like 6, so just to make it easy enough for me to handle. And this time we're going to baste clear across that bottom edge. I found this second design in Pro Stitcher that has all kinds of musical notes and clefs and so forth. So I decided this would be my main design on the aqua panel. So again, I've just followed the same procedures before, laying out my design and then saving my workspace, because I'm going to repeat this again. To use the design again on your second panel, you're going to open the workspace. Everything's already laid out, but it may not be aligned properly. So position the head of your machine or your needle to where you would like the top of the design to start at the far left side. Then you're going to go over to the Modify tab, Reposition, and on the right-hand side of your screen, you're going to find options of where you would like to have the design repositioned to. I'm going to choose the upper left corner. Now, I don't have to worry about the outline for the area, because the area is just for sizing purposes, not for stitching. So I've now repositioned the design so that it aligns with my current fabric on my machine. I'm going to attach the final 5-inch panel that's 5 inches by 60 inches. It's the other half of the one we started with, aligning right sides together. Make sure you put it back to regular 10 to 12 stitches per inch to do your attaching of your panel or your strips, because we just basted on the previous section. Next, I'll pull up the first saved workspace with the piano keys and do my final quilting. Then all I have to do is bind the quilt.
Hope you enjoyed my little project today. Remember to check with your local dealer for any of the accessories, tools, or machines used in this video. I'm Susan Anderson, and I'll look for you again on Susan So Creative, where it's only wrong when it doesn't work.